Welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of the Auto Experience series. That is our in-depth review series featuring objective and subjective tests to give you, out of the really birds, let's go, give you, the viewer, the best overall experience of what it's like to actually live with the vehicles I review. And guys, this review is not just me in a car talking at the camera. Here's what's coming up. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Our car today is an Acura TSX. More specific, let's get up in the revs first. More specifically, a 2008, which is the last, this is going to be good in the canyons, which is the last, I'll stop interrupting myself, is the last year of the first gen Acura TSX. And I believe to be the best gen, let's be honest. Gen 2, looking at you. Yeah, there was a facelift in 06. This has certainly got that, and I think it got a little better looking. I mean, let's hit looks first. This thing still looks sharp. I think it's the smaller with headlights and taillights. Very sleek. Cars from this period, the early to mid-2000s, had big blobby lights, tended to have big blobby bodies. This thing's pretty sharp. Still looks handsome. Still looks fantastic. Yes. Interior, same deal. Looking good. Nothing's going to age in here. Great materials. Oh, lovely combo. Now the good stuff. This is a sports sedan from Honda and Acura. Not like a sports sedan like an E39 M5, right? Let's be honest. This is a sports sedan in the sense it has a lot of enthusiast stuff forced into this little package. I mean little, mid-size package. This TSX is an Accord Euro R in other markets. Here it is a little smaller than the Accord of the time. So it fits between the Civic and Accord, whereas the follow-up pack, which I think is the ILX, is really a Civic-based platform. But yeah, TSX, the right size for what it is. Oh, and the goodies. We were talking about goodies. How about a K-Series motor from the factory? 2.4-liter iVTEC. Gotta love that engine. Gotta love that engine. It's a peach. It has some low-down torque, mid-torque compared to most smaller displacement Honda engines, so the 2.4 helps you with the daily drivability stuff. As we hit this weird stop sign because half the road has collapsed. But yeah, we get a lot of that good stuff. That engine is a wonderful and reliable power plant. We'll talk about the mileage of this vehicle in a little bit. The best feature and the rarest feature when you're looking for a TSX of this era, if you will, this vintage. God, it's almost 20 years old. The early TSXs are over 20 years, coming out in 2003. Is the 6-speed manual I have on this one, and it's not an option, guys. If you're going to buy a TSX, go find a 6-speed manual. It's forged by the gods themselves. It has a very short throw. It feels so great. It mates perfectly with the K24 engine. You literally need to get second gear. You literally need to get that pairing. It is just absolutely brilliant. Oh my God, this car. I mean, it feels good when you're just regular driving, but you push it, it reacts well. Yeah, you need to get the combo. And that's what makes it rare. I mean, boy, should we get right into it, guys? Oh, that transmission has a magnesium bell housing. I think I want to mention that because it's weird. Saves pounds. Interesting design choice. Honda, Acura, love you guys for that kind of stuff. I love those details in cars, and it makes the TSX, which I believe is a special car when it's paired with a manual. Anyway, I think it is a special car, and it makes it that much more special. But market-wise, TSXs, automatic variety, dirt cheap right now. You can go roll a decently high mileage one that looks passable for 4 to 5K, maybe 6K. You want a manual? You're going to pay that Manuel tax, guys. It's going to be, I think the entry level, you can find one for $55,600 that's, paint shot. Go Honda mid-2000s paint, right? Am I right? You can get that. The interior will be shot, and you're going to spend more than that just to get those things fixed, get those issues rectified. Now, if you want a clean one with good paint, good interior, I think you're going to be around $8,000 for a manual, especially if it's been well kept. And this one I'm in today, and we're gonna look at, there's gonna be so much video, so much footage of the interior and exterior and how it runs. You guys aren't gonna believe it. 322,000 miles on the odometer, all original motor and transmission, 2 owners previous to me, huge maintenance records, always maintained at the dealer. It's just, you can't make this stuff up. This car looks, I could tell you it had 70,000 miles, you wouldn't even bat an eye at that statement. So each car is an individual, guys, and I always stress that on the channel. Don't just discredit something for mileage. Don't just discredit something because of bad paint. Look at each car and take it in. A well-maintained car with high mileage, I always say, is better than that low mileage one that's been passed around and has deferred maintenance. I always stand by that statement. And this is an example. This thing drives like it's new. Everything's really good. I don't know what to say. High mileage cars make me happy. They usually get a price because people are scared of the mileage. You get a price that's agreeable because of that. And, well, I think you could really come out ahead if you know your stuff. But yeah, we're going to shake this TSX down. I love this. It's a junior executive, a segment that I think has faded. I mentioned competition earlier. This thing had the G35. It had the IS300, later the IS250. It had the BMW 323, 325. And I think this thing still compared fairly to those cars. And if not, better than fair. It had a very reliable power plant. Now we're looking at this like almost 20 years later. Which one of those cars is probably still running the best? Hasn't had the most maintenance put into it. Sure, the Lexus products are great. Favor the IS300 with its 2JZ before I favor the IS250. But that being said, those are all rear-wheel drive. We have a front-wheel drive. But again, that double wishbone really neutralizes things. I think these cars are awesome. These are probably the best junior executives. I think it was the most well-executed junior executive of its time period and a hell of a value proposition today. So let's shake this thing down because this is an enthusiast sports sedan and they deserve all the love they can get. On to the objective tests. We've got the TSX up on the scales. Let's get that curb weight, front rear balance. I'm guessing a curb weight of around 3,200 pounds. What are you guys thinking? Our 2008 Acura TSX manual weighed in at just over 3,200 pounds. Pretty standard fare for a sedan from this time period. Pretty light compared to today's models though. That curb weight slots in with some other relatively similar sized vehicles, including a wide mix of sedans, hatchbacks, hybrids, coupes, and small SUVs. Our 2008 Acura TSX also sports the very familiar front-wheel drive, front-engine biased weight distribution of 60% plus over the front and nearly 40% over the rear. With over 320,000 miles on the clock, I'd say our Acura TSX still has quite a bit of pep in its step. These are some pretty quick cars that it's close to. Here's a brilliant and time-proven recipe for success. Take a reliable and highly capable K-Series motor and pair it with an equally fantastic 6-speed manual. Driving the Acura TSX is an incredibly enjoyable experience. It has plenty of power to accommodate long-distance highway speed cruising and enough handling prowess to make it an effective machine in the twisty canyon roads. The double wishbone front and multi-link rear allow for a composed and highly qualified handling package. All inputs are just right. The steering, the braking, the gearing, and that VTEC. All of it just spot on. The TSX is just as happy navigating a daily commute as it is being pushed through some serious corners. I've always proclaimed this period to be Acura's finest in the exterior design category. The follow-up acts didn't age quite as well. This vintage of TSX and the TL are still gorgeous designs when they were released and even today. The narrow headlight and taillight design is still very modern looking, and each is highly cool in their own rights. I'm not a black car guy, but in this junior executive package, paired with the subtle chrome touches, that color just works so well here. The side profile is an overall sleek design hinting to the sporty intentions the TSX holds. The dual exhaust also supports that image. Everything is balanced, clean, near luxury appointments with subtle hints of the car's quite capable sportiness. Black on black is never a bad look, much as the case with our TSX we're looking at today. The perforated leather seats offer just the right compromise of bolstering and comfort that this segment really promises. The dash is simple and clean, lacking the clutter most other vehicles were dealing with during this time period. The leather-wrapped steering wheel feels fantastic in your hands and has all the buttons one would ever need right within a finger's reach. The gauges are also well lit and highly visible, with a truly useful center message window that can be customized to the driver's preference. The TSX's interior hits that perfect junior executive package expectation. It's not a pared down sports car, nor is it an overly cushy and opulent luxury cruiser. It's literally just right. No Honda K-swap necessary here, folks. It has that action from the factory. This Acura TSX is powered by a K24A2 2.4-liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder iVTEC engine, pumping out a very respectable for its displacement 205 horsepower and 164 pound-feet of torque. Power really comes on at the 6K RPM VTEC crossover, but is still plentiful below that threshold. Torque also feels highly adequate down low in the revs compared to other high-revving, high-strung Honda Acura engine offerings, adding greatly to the daily drivability of the TSX. Though the 7100 RPM redline is solid enough for the segment, it feels like it's just getting into its groove at that point. The VTEC band is relatively narrow. Again, balance is key here as the engine has a fantastic cross-section of revvy fun and low-down functional power. There's a reason these K-Series motors are so well respected. When someone is saying that Honda makes one of the best transmissions in the business, they are referring to this very same gearbox. The 6-speed manual in the Acura TSX is absolutely mint. The slotting into the next gear is precise, yet feels more smooth than notchy. It genuinely feels married to the K-Series power plant, two ideal lovers that keep everything magical. The only drawback is that the manual is actually super rare in the TSX, as most are automatic equipped. Due to the scarcity, there is a fairly substantial price markup for the manually equipped cars, but one that is greatly, and I mean greatly, justified. It's the manual transmission option that solidifies the sport in this sport sedan. Is the 2008 Acura TSX a junior exec worthy of a promotion? In the world of junior execs, it's dog eat dog, and grabbing that next rung on the corporate ladder is the prime objective. To stand out in a sea of peers, you really need to bring some serious attributes to the table. The first-gen TSX does that in a multitude of ways. It looks the part. A tight, well-fitted black suit with just the right amount of chrome accents hint towards luxury. The interior is also all business with black leather, brushed aluminum accents, and a clean, straightforward design approach. Aesthetics are merely a fraction of the TSX's success plan. It delivers the goods where it counts most: performance and reliability. We're not talking about straight line action here. We're talking about nimble handling by way of the double wishbone suspension up front. We're also talking about rolling through 6 forward gears on an absolute gem of a gearbox. And lastly, we're talking about revving out a stout K-Series power plant complete with that sweet VTEC. The good looks and great performance are wonderfully complemented by amazing reliability throughout and a low cost of maintenance. The TSX consistently arrives 10 minutes early for all its meetings and has one of the most polished slide decks at the conference. The 2008 Acura TSX is one of the best executed junior executive sports sedans of all time.